Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, I'll be calling on Mr. P2B to answer the questions because he has a number of questions in his hand.
Stand up because the chairman said to me that he's going to pass all the papers to me. Let me start with the comments that the question that have been asked Father George before he left on the issue of how do you stop all these looters. Something as asking the question, how do you deal with corruption? I've answered this severally. Fighting corruption is one of the easiest things you can do today in Nigeria. And I want that's why I'm standing up. I want it to be on. People can tape it, people can say, it's one of the easiest things you can do. If you, the leader, is not stealing, your family is not, those around you are not stealing, you reduce it by 70%. And Father George was at the airport when I said it today. I called a civil servant, a top civil servant. I said, if your boss didn't add his own, can you add your own? He said, no. You have to add your own first. So I, as governor, will call them. The commissioner knows, the permanent secretary, everybody knows that this thing is, say, 100 million naira. But I've added 30 for myself. Then commissioner will add 10. PAMSEC will add 10. Everybody in that line will continue. By the time you know that thing becomes 300, and you can't stop it, because your own is inside it. Your wife maybe have added his own, and that is how it goes. If you don't, it will not happen. I've been a victim of it. I have 3 reasons why I was impeached. And I'd say it everywhere. First item why I was impeached was because we had 298 million naira to refurbish the office of the governor. That was number 1 item. When I came in, because we readjusted our position, the office of the governor is supposed to consume about 30% of our budget, only had 5% because of our readjustment, so I had to readjust everything. It cost me, and it cost the government, 43,200,000 to execute the same thing that had a budget of 298 million. We didn't spend a penny more, and everything I bought was new. The only thing I didn't buy new, I said everywhere, stable. A man, Governor Badinuju, was there before Governor Ngige, had a table he was using, which I found kept somewhere. And I said to them, well, listen, we don't need to add table because this table is okay. And they said, oh, well, I said, listen, it's table. Table is table. There's nothing, if you want to write something, you can write it on this table. There's nothing fanciful about table. Just bring the table, polish it, it's table. If I write, they said all sorts of things, what he was doing, whether he's doing the listen, it's table. When I start writing, if he cannot, then I'll know there's something wrong with the table. And I used it for the 8 years I was there. It didn't collapse. Second item where I was impeached was my lodge. The lodge of the governor, the budget to rebuild it and refurbish it was 486 million. Everything, we did everything with 81 million. Everything. Because they put all sorts of things, furniture, bed made in Dubai, made in called it once. I said, listen, this is bed. There must be somebody who can do bed in Oka. Bed is bed. It doesn't matter. You know, if you can't sleep, if there's any reason why you will keep awake, even if they bring the bed from New York, you will be awake. I said, it's a bed. The man we gave the contract for the bed today is employing over 120 people. Because I went to him, I said, Mr. Niger, I used to do bed. Right? We just want bed. Eh? Yes. He said he remembered it because he even went to his house and they said, oh, leather chair. I said, let me tell you, leather chair is chair covered by leather. That's all. There's nothing called leather chair. It doesn't matter whether you call this one Versace or it was made behind here. It's leather because it's covered by leather. So I said, okay, Mr. Daja, go and buy leather. Cover this seat. It's for sitting down. It's not good. But it cost us 81 million naira. That was the second reason why I was impeached. Third reason was I was saving money. So when people say about corruption, about this, you can shut it down. We had guest houses. We were the only government that didn't have a lodge in Abuja. Because I questioned it, I said, why would governor of Anambra State have a lodge in Abuja? Everybody said to me, no, you need it. My predecessor bought it for 1 billion naira. It was costing us almost 30-something million naira to keep it. In fact, if I go to Abuja, they will give the cook between 50 and 100,000 naira to feed me for one day. And I said, wait a minute. If I stay in hotel where I started staying thereafter, Rockview or Protea, I pay in the room 35,000. Their buffet is 5,000. So why would we give somebody 50 to 100,000 naira with inconveniences of plate, everything and all that we are going to buy? When a buffet in the hotel is 5,000, we don't have to add anything. Everything will just come there, eat as we like, and I go. And most of the time, if I go into the restaurant, people pay for me. So we don't even actually need to hire anybody. Because they will see me and say, okay, we'll pay for you. So it became a problem. Why am I saying this? These are little things people don't know the cost implication. In governance, when we talk about waste in government, people don't know this. My first 3 months was a nightmare. If I want to go to Abuja, it cost Anambra State government over 10 million. Why? I have 30 to 40 persons that have no reason to be in Abuja who are going to go with me. Nobody invited them for meetings. It's only me they call. And I have to pay for these people's tickets. They constitute a nuisance to the traveling public because they will all over the place in the airport. And they go with me to Abuja. Until I sat down because we have no money. And we say, listen, ADC, all these people, I called Donovo. He's there, IGO. I said, when I come to Abuja, give me 2 policemen. Call the DGS, give me 2 people. That's what I need from my airport to here. They will lead me. I don't need to carry 20 police from our car. They're not protecting me in the air. Once we are airborne, they are as vulnerable as I am. So what are they doing? What am I saying this? If you are not wasting it, it will. It's like a vehicle. We used to have a convoy of 22 vehicles. We used to have a fuel dump in government house until, because of our court costing, we found out we cannot sustain it. And I said, no, shut it down. They said, oh, in case you find fuel scarcity, because they will give you every reason. I said, listen, shut this down. We can't afford it. It was costing us 30-something million naira every month keeping that fuel dump. When we stopped using it, we were still spending almost 10 million in fuel. Until one day I stopped on the middle of the road and said, listen, this is number of cars following me. I want to know which ones are occupied. 15 of the vehicles were empty. 15 out of 22 were empty. They just run, create, again, nuisance to the traveling public. I said, let me tell you, the convoy of the governor today is 5 vehicles. And they must be occupied. And we want to buy fuel. I'll enter, we'll go to fuel station, we'll buy fuel. Let's come to fuel. And we came down to 1 million. So it was very easy. What am I saying? We need to shut down this cost. So because when people say money wastage, this is the wastage. So we move from 30 million to 1 million in a month. Just of fuel. that would have been buying and everything. You know, they will say, oh, this, no, it will not. There's too much waste that is there. In Anambra State, we had every secondary school had a generator. Every secondary school. If you're from Anambra State, go and check it. In your community. Every secondary school had a generator. Do you know how we bought that generator? They gave me a bill to do street light from my office to the lodge. And it came to, and we power it. It came to about 500 and something million naira. Sure, I said, okay, fine. How many secondary schools do we have? About 500 of them. I called the man who said generator. I said, I want to buy 40 kVA. Then, for every secondary school, how much will it cost? He came with the 1.2 million. I said, we're buying 500. So we won't pay more than 1 million. He said, yes. So I said, okay, write this man to supply the secondary school generators so they have light for the kids to read. I will make sure I leave my office by 7 p.m. and go home. We don't need the street light. That's how we bought it. So we can shut these things down and use the money. Somebody asked a question, what can I do for the youth? Chairman, I'll be very quick now. What can I do for the youth? Let me tell you, the most critical and important thing we'll do as a government today is number one, cohesion. Nigerian cohesion is very low. The unity is very low. We mistrust each other. We don't believe in each other. So we must start now to show that we are a nation that must come, because we come from diverse areas, we must bring ourselves together. Simultaneously, as we are doing this, we are tackling security. And for you to tackle insecurity today, you have to deal with natural way of tackling it, and then you have to do the defensive one. The natural way is that you must pull people out of poverty. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. It's happened in Brazil, in Mexico, in Colombia. I can cite you countries where let me tell you, when people don't know where the next meal will come from, they tool for anything. You have millions of young people in their productive age doing nothing. They are your engine of growth. The greatest employer of labor and greatest engine of growth in any country is micro, small, medium businesses. And they are driven by the youth. You must, and what they need is two things: training and funding. You must do it. All the countries we are celebrating today, let me use China. People say aside China. China is engine of growth and example that everybody should use anytime, anywhere. Today in China, the MSMEs, small businesses generate 60% of their productive capacity, contribute over 60% to their GDP. Today in China, the employment is almost 70% by the MSMEs. China today, a country of 1.4 billion, total employment is 800 million. And they are doing more. Out of which, this 800 million, 60%, 540 is within the SMEs. In fact, in the community, so 540 million people are employed by MSMEs. In the towns, in the urban areas, it's actually about 80% of the employed capacity. And in urban areas, 480 million people are employed. 80% of that is from MSMEs. In terms of budget, Chinese budget today is about 4 trillion. Annual trillion. The last one about 2019, 2020, 4 trillion. Out of this 4 trillion, 3.2 trillion is from taxes. And of these taxes of 3.2 million, small businesses do almost 50 to 60%. Because you hear government today saying, oh, we have a problem. Our tax to GDP is low. Yes. Because your people are not employed. The more people are productive and employed, the more revenue you get. You can't tax people who are not doing anything. No, they don't have food. Where are you going to get the tax? So taxation is like a bank account. The more you put in by supporting small businesses, the more you can take back. You can't go to bank and say, write a check and say, pay me money, when you have not credited anything in. No. The government first have to credit in. So when these people are running this and as if we are running a motor park, you know, there's already a line you have to go through if you have to run it. So we need to inject money on the youth. These are dynamic people. I believe it or not, Nigeria have one of the best talented, hardworking youths. Forget about what they are doing is that all these people you see that are Yahoo boys. It's all these Yahoo boys you see. They are actually the people India switched over and they became the ICT everything in the world. All they need is direction to show this thing you're doing is wrong. If you go this way, without support, we celebrate you. And that's it. The government needs to drive. So we need to empower the youth. Look at it. Parents pay for their children to go to school. They finish school. They're at home, being fed by their parents. They're not doing anything. It's a nightmare. So you need to change it. So the youth, but the youth themselves have to understand it is about them. It's their country. They have to take it back. They don't need to stay and say this. Somebody said, how am I going to deal with legislators? Let me tell you about legislators and governors and everything. When I became governor in Anambra State, 30 members of House of Assembly are PDP. In fact, people think this is the first time I left PDP. It's not. Chairman knows. Ask Chairman. If he comes back, he will tell you. Chairman knows I started my politics by PDP. It was ABC who dragged me to PDP. Unfortunately, it was this type of rascality that I saw now. And I said, no, I went to Abga. Contested the election and won. When I was sworn in as Anambra State governor, 30 members of House of Assembly is PDP. 30 members, there's 3 senators, including Senator Michael Ajebo, were PDP. The 3 House of Assembly, everybody was PDP, including local government chairman. And people said to me, even though most of our highly placed government officials were PDP, I work with them. In fact, the closest person that approved my budget was a relation of my predecessor, Dr. Chris Ngige. I didn't know this woman. And within 2 months I was governor, he queried everything I was doing. I did something wrong. She queried it. So as I drive to office in the morning, I saw a woman kneeling down. And I said, stop, let me know why this woman is kneeling down. He's done it first day, second day. So I got out of the car. I said, what is happening, madam? He said, please, oh, please, I have nothing to do again. Hey, I didn't do anything wrong. Oh. This is it. I said, madam, what did you do? He said he found that I approved something that was wrong. So he queried it. They turned it and said, because it's a formal law, Ngige is formal law. Because it's formal law, it's the relation of Ngige. That's why I said, madam, come, bring that thing. He queried, bring everything. They brought it. I was wrong. Totally wrong. So when I finished, I said, called the head of service. I said, what is my powers? As governor, I want to know. This woman is the director. He says the director. I said, okay. So can I promote her? He said, yes. I said, I know what I want you to do. Head of service. I want to promote this woman to permanent secretary. You bring her to my office. Madam, you know your job. Query everything I'm doing here till I leave here. You know, she was there. That's how that woman came to work for me and was so bold that anything I do, it's it. So what am I trying to say? Don't leave all these people say, if you're in a different party, you have different registrators, they will impeach them. No. You have disagreement with them, but as long as you keep doing the right thing, after some time, it will. I surrounded myself, for example, with appointments with people I didn't know. Half of my commissioners, I never met them before. People just recommended them. I read their CV and say, come. You know, and it would be worse for you if they're women. I was surrounded by women. You know, and sorry, women. My chief of staff was a woman. My accountant general was a woman. Commissioner for finance was a woman. Commissioner for local government. And they were all my senior. The list of them is about 5 years my senior. They will just gang up. I just come and say, they say, no, we cannot do it. And they will all agree. You argue with them in the morning, argue with them in the evening. I will even tell them, can't you people realize I'm governor? They said they don't want to care. It's not their business. We too have children. We have children that are going to suffer because of this. At the end of the day, without them, I won't succeed. Because they were the people saying no to me. So it's important. So let nobody tell you about legislators. No. If you're doing the right thing, sooner or later everybody will key in. The civil servants will key in. Everybody. We moved our schools from number 26, 27 to number 1. The teachers did not change. Not one teacher. It was the same teachers. All we did is say, this thing is not working. Church, come and take your school back. Take your school, church. Let it be, you're managing your school. We don't want to manage it again. Of course, the NUT went to strike. After about 6 months, we reconciled. Church took back their school. What did the church do? Within 3 months, they removed all our principals. Which is what they have said. They said, if church remove you, you come, we post you in our own school. Our own schools are in the small schools in the village. They don't want to go there. They want to stay in township. And that's what they did. They removed them and put their own people. But they saw the schools changing. We said, how are we going to spend the money? I said, if the school belongs to the church, if you know the amount of money you spend per school, give it to the church. They said, no. The church is not this thing. They are not qualified. I used one problem we have. We had a reverend sister in KRC. We went there, gave us bill for erosion, 27 million naira. Our Minister of Environment said, following this, following that, they got almost 100 million naira. They said she's not an engineer. I said, listen, this woman lives with erosion. He wants 27. We that are not there will pay 100. No, give her 27 million naira. If erosion carries her, it's her business. Till today, that erosion is solved. If we are doing it with government, we will be doing variation till today. So there's ways you can do, and if you do it that way, you see yourself cutting costs. Other questions people ask here, like I said about security. There's need, when we put people out of poverty about security, there's need to re-equip and do more with our citizens. We have less than 350 policemen. 350,000. I went to Egypt. They had 1.something million for 100 persons. We have less than 300 for 200 million. It won't work. Our army, everything, you need to equip it. You need to take security serious. It's not acceptable that government will say they kidnap people and put them in the bush and government is negotiating. In today's world, it's not true. Somebody somewhere is not telling us the truth. Not today, where you can be found in the middle of nowhere with communication. So I won't talk much about security. But if you're determined, you can deal with it decisively. I will mention an issue people ask about running mates. There's really not any, what we need for me personally, if I'm left on my own, but it's a party decision. What we need is that we need to involve young people in what we're doing today. There's nothing, all these things we are going to do, oh, we're going to call this name because it's too much. There's so many sharp young people here that can easily run our states, our country, if well guided. But that is for the party to decide, so I won't mention much. All I can tell you is that we're going to have a team that work for the interest of this. People say, okay, how do you do with issue of agitations, the various agitations? The reason why you're seeing all these various agitations is that sheer failure. Nobody wants to actually go to another country if things are working here. After all, people are living here to go and live in Canada. They are living here to go and live in America. So if things are working here, they won't want to leave. So the agitations can be managed when people see that things are happening. Again, people are talking about issue of this, issue of running mate. Issue of running mate is being dealt with the party. I can work with anybody. While I was governor, the people I worked with, I never met them before they were appointed my deputy. They were all my friends, I didn't know them. Just like I said, most of my commissioners, I didn't know them, I just met them. We read and they say, oh, this person was a professor of this. If I know Stella Okuna before I made her chief of staff, I won't make her chief of staff. I can tell you. Everybody, if you know Stella Okuna, go and ask anybody. It's somebody who can argue with you from morning till night and doesn't understand that I'm the boss. But she will tell you, I'm the mother. So I want you to do the right thing for the children. But again, working with her was fantastic. Because she saw me as a junior brother, treated me as same. And we remain like that till today. She will always say to me, this thing you said here is wrong. You can't use that word, you can't do this. Even correct the English that is there. I said, listen, I know, I'm not a professor. I've just done my bit. Let the English people correct their language. What is your plans to reduce oil theft? Let me tell you. These things are what we need to deal with. You cannot say that we are producing oil and people are stealing 70% of it. We are losing about 500 billion every month when we are borrowing 1 trillion. So we are part of the stealing. When I say we are all involved, I don't mean you here. But if there's no involvement of those who are supposed to protect it, we will deal with it. And I assure you, we will deal with it. It's like subsidy. People talk about subsidy. Let me tell you, subsidy is a scam. The amount of oil they are talking about cannot be consumed in this country. So all this thing about subsidy, this year, we are going to probably spend in subsidy about 5 trillion. Go and check. That is more than our budget for education and health in the past 5 years. It's unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Or about that. It's unacceptable. You can't now. There's no way. What are you subsidizing? Why won't you? That's the 10 trillion. That will easily give us 15,000 megawatts of electricity. If you tell people what you need is a leader, is to communicate the resources and what is being used for, and people will see it. I was in Anambra State, and I said, people listen. When you tell them you're going to do this with this money, they will do it. Somebody, MC mentioned here about hospital. No, MC, I didn't build hospital. What happened is that when we started, we had no school of nursing that is accredited, no school of midwifery, no school of health technology. Then civil servant wrote a letter how we are going to build new ones, and it was too much. And I said to them, listen, I grew up, I know that there's a hospital called Iyenu. And Iyenu is where, because we did it in history, is where they had the first midwife in Nigeria. I said, so they have school of midwifery there. And they have school of nursing there. I remember the school of midwifery in Waterside, owned by the Kali Church, and school of nursing in Boromeo, owned by Kali Church. And then there was St. Joseph Adazi. They had school of midwifery, school of nursing, school of health technology. They had the same thing in Ihala. There was a lady of Lords in Ihala. He had it. So I said to them, well, these are things I used to know as a small boy. They say it belonged to the church. I said, wait. Are they in Anambra State? Yes. But the owner is the church. Is it not better we go to the church and partner with them and resuscitate all these schools? Then start a new one. They were arguing. And I said, listen, I'm the governor. I'm going to put in this. I'm going to give the Diocese of Onitsha with this facility $1 billion, ENU $1 billion, this one $1 billion. Go. All of them are functional today. The one we started with government is the only one having problem. So it's not just that we gave government money, church money. We found out that church were better managers of the resources, and we gave them the money. All those schools today we have about 10 schools of nursing, school of midwifery, all functional in Anambra State. In fact, we have more schools of nursing than any other surrounding states. And it was a church. We couldn't have achieved it without the church. Same thing is what we did with money of school. We said we had a primary school. We had 1,000 primary school. Kali Church had 450. Anglican Church had 300. So we had only 250. So every 2 months we bring out money and say, this is 1 billion. Give Kali Church 450. Give Anglican Church 300. You, federal government, take 100. They wrote petition. Federal government set up a committee headed by Wike. They came. If you see what the Kali Church and Anglican Church use their money to do, in fact, you shut down our own. They used that money we were giving them. If you see the schools, they became first class. Then go to our own, where we are using government money, because the contract will be given to a relation of Peter Obi, who will give it to his wife, give it to, no money will get there. So we decided, let's use this money in the direct way. So it wasn't that I gave the church money. We have a health center, the best health center in Nigeria today, built in others, not by the church. I went to America and I was watching a news that there's 5 doctors in a particular area that can do heart surgery while the heart is pumping. And one was a Nigerian. And I asked somebody, do you know him? I called him. He said, yes, he's from others. And he has been doing this all over the world. I said, if we go to others, can we come to others and do a health center in your name? He said, yes. That he will even be coming there to do operations free. So I came back. I said, okay, give me the cost implication. He gave me about 350 million naira. If I had done it in General Hospital in Anambra State, it would have collapsed. So I came back and called the Bishop of Oka, Bishop Ezokav, and said, this man is from others. You already have a hospital in others. So this is the money. Build this thing. He's offered to come here annually to do surgery to people free as his contribution to his people. And he's going to bring the equipment from America free of charge. And he did. That place is for, if you go there, you'll be shocked. People are coming from all over Nigeria. If I had built it in General Hospital with government money, nobody will be there now. So it is the church. You see, I'm not just saying, that's why I say we laity. We have to be involved. So for me, all these things that I hear, the questions I hear, I'm not going to go, I'm just answer them encompassing. What we need is to have leaders that we will listen to, they mean well, and they can be able to work with people. There's no difference between our parties. When Senator Ajegbo was senator, one of the best roads we built, he brought it about. He was the one. Even second Niger Bridge that people are mentioning now, Karen, these are the people who fought for it. You know, it's easy for people to come and say now, second Niger Bridge. Senator Ajegbo fought for a bypass to Obosi, including the first flyover we built in Anambra. All I did is when I came in, I found out that road was impossible. They've awarded the contract under him, but they've not mobilized the contractor. The contractor wasn't working. Obasanjo said he wants to come to Anambra State. And I insisted with his people that he has to go from Oka. Now I want to receive him in Onitsha. He was supposed to come to Oka with the copter. I said, we'll go to Onitsha. The reception is in Onitsha. I did it. Sorry. Now that I have to say, I said it on purpose. How to even pay people. Say, I want me and him to go by road. They say, no, the road is very bad. There's no way you can put president on this road. I said, please, I'm begging you people. I want two of us to drive by road. So he came to Oka, and we drove by road from Oka to Onitsha. By the time he got to Onitsha, he told me, Peter, we must know what to do with this road. I said, that's Mr. President, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. Say, what is it? I said, can I pay the contractor? You people have awarded the contract because the contractor said it's being owed. Can I pay him? He will do the road and you refund me. And I can tell you, fantastic. He signed it immediately. So that road is there. That road and everything was championed by him. I just did what they... So, all these things people say, different parties. We only seek of difference when we are trying to share money. If it's working and people can see the purpose, they will all support you. I was supported by PDP legislators in most of the things I did. My speaker was PDP. In fact, my speaker was actually Speaker Anduba anointed. But I was working with him because he would come to my office and say, Speaker, we are going to do this. We are going to do this. We are going to do this. He would say to me, Oga, hey, what am I going to do with my people? I said, go and tell them this thing we are doing, their children, everybody will benefit. Yes, of course, because they are my brothers. And they'll say, Oga, we know we'll benefit. But I said, no, but let's do this for the children. And they were cooperating. So we need to have leaders who have purpose. They will see everything you're doing, even the people at the center. One of my political supporters today, I can tell anybody, yesterday and today is Obasanjo. And people will say, wait, when I became governor, I shut down Presidential Lodge. Obasanjo wanted to visit Anambra State. I went to him. I said, Mr. President, they say he's coming for 3 days. Because we have no place for him to stay. I went to him. I said, Mr. President, you're the president of the country. You don't need to sleep in Anambra State. When you come in the morning, you can go in the evening. He asked me to leave his office. I should leave his office. That he is close to Ikoyi, and Ikoyi is doing something, and he wants to stay in Anambra for 3 days. And I have no place to accommodate him. Because he can't stay in a hotel, he's the president. So I went to his chief of staff. I said, can you tell the president, I have a place for him to stay. I have a lodge. If they come and look at where I'm living and it's good, I'll give them the key for 1 month. When he goes, I'll come back. His chief of staff was a nice man. He said, okay, he's going to talk to him. And he went to talk to him. And he said, but why did I shut down Presidential Lodge? The president doesn't live in Oka. So how can we have a house furnished and keep maintaining it for somebody who will never come there? It's costing us a fortune. So we shut it down. The president came. The people came and looked at my lodge. everything. I said, it's okay. Of course, I asked my wife, I said, listen, they need this place for 1 week, so we have to move. So we left. It cost us, the presidential lodge we were doing then was going to cost us about 700 million. And then we furnish it, and every month we spend about 20, 30 million maintaining it. But that 1 week, Obasanjo stayed. He came on Thursday and left on Sunday. That 1 week, that 3 days he stayed, I took a week in a hotel opposite me. It cost us less than 120,000 naira. And that was the last time a president slept in Oka. In the 8 years I was there. And this happened in my first 1 year. Subsequently, Jonathan would say, he's coming to Oka. I say, listen, there's a presidential lodge in Asaba. There's one in this thing, and this thing. And to even tell you, sir, all these vehicles you want me to bring for you to use, I'm taking it from people in Asaba. Because I don't have that type of vehicle. I didn't use bulletproof car for my 8 years. Because I tell them, you can't have 20 police and have bulletproof car. Is that why we don't have police, I have bulletproof car, or we have, because we have, so what are they protecting? You know? And that was it. So, you can shut down the cost. What am I saying this? To conclude, what am I saying? The cost of governance in Nigeria is unacceptable. You can shut it down. Government is not a restaurant, it's not an entertainment center. If you eat dinner today, if Biden invites you for dinner today in White House, he pays for it. If you do it I was in Downing Street recently, if they give you dinner or lunch, the Prime Minister will pay for it. Of course, you saw him because he went to party with his own drink. That is trying to consume him. These are the things people do. Trump was sick. He had COVID. Where did they treat him? Military hospital. Because there was no White House clinic. Boris Johnson was sick. He had COVID. They took him to hospital I can go to. They took him to hospital. Everybody goes to. That's what government is all about. You fix the right place. If you're sick, you go there. You don't need to have create another hospital. So when I became governor, we had a government house clinic with 2 ambulances. None of our hospitals had ambulance. And you have ambulance. As governor is moving, ambulance is in his convoy. I said, what is it? They say in case if you have accident. How can you do a thing like that? So, these are costs we need to eliminate. And all of us here can help to eliminate it. Once again, Father, everybody, Chairman, thanks for this opportunity. And I'm happy that my brother is contesting. Now, what he told you people, do not look at the parties. Look at the individual. When they voted for me to be governor in Anambra State, quote me, I've never contested the election. I wasn't in the big party. He knows. But people like him, those who know me, said, Peter, this thing you're trying to do is not going to be easy. I'll come to a place. They said, look at this man. There's somebody I'll give my CV. They will read it and said, okay, this is your CV. You said you're a chairman in a bank. You are this. So if somebody wants to be MD of bank, would he discuss what he will pay you people? I said, yes. He said, we are chairman here. Tell us what we are going to get. I said, you're not going to get anything. We're going to get roads. You know, but eventually, people voted for me. I didn't give them money. They voted for me. And that's what I'm begging people to do now. Look at who wants to be governor. Who wants to go to House of Rep. Who wants to go to this. Don't collect money from him. If you collect money, once he goes there, he will be preoccupied by refund. But if you do it for the sake of it, he will build a better country. God bless you.